Hello lovebirds, TonyaTko here, and the title of today's video is Don't Let a Man Treat You Worse Than He Would Treat His Own Daughters. And I felt inspired to make this video today because I felt somebody needed to hear this message. If you're not on my Instagram, come on over to instagram.com/TonyaTko, and that's Tonya with an O. You don't have to worry about having all of the links. You can come right over to my website, which is right here, TonyaTko.com, and all of my links to social media are right there. Pinterest, Facebook, everything that you need, just a click away, whichever is your preferred method. And if you don't subscribe to any of those methods, you can always subscribe to my personal mailing list on my website, and I deliver a video or a vlog message or a letter to your inbox once a week, and so you can always stay up with me that way. So let's get right into today's video. Oh my goodness. Whew, how do I get started, Lord? You know, I did the little 8-second clip and I felt that this needed expounding upon because it still weighed heavy on my heart and I needed to talk more about this. All right, because listen, you know I can't do a video in 8 seconds anyway. Well, I can, and I do, but let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. Don't let a man treat you worse than he would treat his own daughters. I want you to really just let that set in on you a little bit. Don't accept anything less, because you know that he would not want anybody treating his baby the way he may be behaving in your relationship. So don't do it. Don't accept it. Don't participate in that. And the caveat to that is, if you're with a man who is a questionable father, then you need to question yourself. Okay? Let's move on. Okay, so even if you have no father figure in your life to create the benchmark for how you should be treated, or even if this man is not a father yet, I want you to imagine, just imagine what type of father he would be and how he would treat his daughters and how he would want other people to treat his daughters out there. You know, people sometimes talk to me and they're like, oh, Tonya, you know, you make mention of people and how, listen, if you're here as an adult, able to watch this video, somebody cared about you, somebody. And some people say, oh, Tonya, well, what about people whose family didn't care about them? And I know it's impossible for any baby to make it in this world without the care of another person. So someone cared about you. But let's say no one did. Let me just tell you this. If it's not love, then it's not truth. So I don't know how your father may have treated you. I don't know how the people in your family treated you. But if it is not love, honey, it is a lie. So I need you to think and get down. You remember in math when we talked about breaking it down to the lowest common denominator. Honey, it all leads back to love. And when you dissect and break down and divide any action, you have to bring that action back down to love. And if you hold it up to what love is on the smell test, honey, and it doesn't match up, then honey, it is not the truth. So no matter what it is that somebody may have done to you in the past, if your father was not good to you, honey, that is a lie. And that is not representative of how you should be treated. So girl, let's go on into the rest of the video. I need you to imagine what that man is capable of as a father, and how he would dote on his daughters and how he would care for them and want to send them out in the world to be cared for. So, and if you cannot imagine that he would be a caring father, then you need to look at yourself and wonder why you are with such a man. Let's go on. Okay. This was sparked by a post that I read on Facebook. I have a gentleman on my Facebook friend. I have a Facebook friend, and I was reading a post that he put up on his page, and he was basically saying that his daughter is of the age that she's ready to date. And he basically, the whole gist of the post was, my baby girl is getting ready to start dating, and people want me to wreck shop and get a shotgun and all this and the other. And he was basically saying that he's been teaching his daughter how a man should treat her since the day she was born. And he was like, that's what all of the the care and attention and the love and affection and the gifts and the opening the car doors or the whatnot, whatever it was that he did for his daughter, all of that was leading up to when she gets out on her own, being able to use that as the benchmark for how someone else out in the street should treat her. So he said he's been training her from since when she was little. But before I get into the but, I'm gonna say this. He ended it off saying that he hoped that all of his lessons have sunk in and that now the rest is up to her. And that's what this video is about, me talking to you, because I know this gentleman and I know how he has treated women in the past. So I was really surprised to read his post, and I found it had a very deep impact on me. It had a very deep impact on me because I don't even know. Let's see. How do we really get into this fully? It had a deep impact on me because I know, how they say that people only do to you what you allow them to do. And I think that it's a little more, I think it's a little simpler than that. I do. Hear me out. Hear me out. I was, the post that I read combined with this song that I was listening to, well, that came on. This morning I was working out, and this song came into my headphones, and it was this song by Pitbull. Because, when I'm working out, I like to, because normally, I get out into nature and I just start zoning out. Because, what, I enjoy my own company so much that I get really involved in this deep thought. So I have to try to put on like really loud, irritating music, with fast beats so that it could jar me out of my train of thought and have me continue to run or work out or whatever, instead of just staying there looking at nature. Because look, if you come to my Instagram page, you'll see I'm taking pictures of clouds and the trees and the leaves, and I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, life is so good, it's so beautiful, and I need something to be like boom bam, get out of this, shake it up and mix it up. So I put on Pitbull because I find modern day music nowadays is very startling to me, but nonetheless. So I had on this Pitbull song, and in the Pitbull song, he was basically, one of his lyrics was that he was in the back of the club putting his hand up some girl's skirt. Alrighty. And I started, and then that lyric threw me into another state of deep thought. And I'm thinking, okay, now, and I'm still in deep thought right now, because part of where my mind was when I started thinking about that, because I wanted to make a video about how we women are under the impression that men don't want to get married, etc. But when a man is ready, he does scour, just like the men at the end of the night at the nightclub, how they're looking for somebody to go home with. Men are quite aggressive when it comes to getting what it is that they want when they want it, right? So, for the most part, some of us women, we play games, and I need to do a whole video about that, so please remind me. Some of us women, we play games and we're like, oh, we're only looking for a friendship, when we're really looking for more, because we don't want to turn the man off, because we've heard so many other men talking about, oh, these women put a rush, I'm just looking for friendship, and you're thinking that maybe your snatch can snatch him up. That's a whole nother video. But I was thinking about that, and that was rolling around in my mind, and then this song lyric came on about how this man had his hands up this girl's skirt in the nightclub. And it dawned on me, everything came full circle. Listen, men are a little bit different than women in that I talked about this in Man Day videos, how for a woman, life is seen through what happens to her, whereas for a man, life is seen through what he can make happen. So for men, a man will never know. Listen, there's so much opportunity for so many different things out there, and every woman is different. Every woman is different. Some women are very aggressive with what it is that they want. Some women are really low key and they let the man do things to them that they themselves know that they want done, because if she did not want this done to her, she would stop him. Some women will jump and pounce on a man and be like, this is what I want. I want to get the thum 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 at the thum 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 in my thum thum thum, and she'll get on it and she'll be on it. And you know, some of those women can even scare men, because me and my sister, we we experimented hollering out the car window at men, you know, hollering sexual harassment out the car window at men, and it frightens them. You know, it's they're taken aback and they're like, oh, this must be a trick or whatever. Oh, I'm off onto a tangent. But what I'm saying is, you know, I think the brunt end of aggression does lay on men, because female aggression can be very intimidating for men, because some men are like, oh well, if this woman is that aggressive, I don't really know if I can meet her level of demand, or I don't want to embarrass myself, or whatever the case may be. You know, men have all types of insecurities when it comes to their penises and any number of things with their sexual performance. Nonetheless, back to the song lyric. Back to the song lyric. For a man, he may have the opportunity to go home with a woman or to get inside of a woman if he only tries. Can you imagine if you were a man? Imagine if you were a man, right? And there were, I mean, look, there's all these women out there walking around with this little treasure chest between their legs, and some will let you in and some will not. But how will you know unless you try? You know, some women will let you. So how does a man, imagine how bad it would feel to miss out on that tremendous opportunity. Let's say you went out with, okay, maybe you might do the right two things. Okay, let's say you're a man and you go out with this girl and you're like, oh my princess, you're so wonderful and so lovely. I had a really great time at the end of the night. And you're like, okay, well, I'll see you later. And she's like, okay, well, I'll see you later. And he's like, okay, well, bye. And she's like, all right, well, bye. And she's like, do, 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 do. Then she goes back inside her house. And he's like, wow, that was a great night, right? And she's like, he didn't even try anything. He must not really like me. Maybe he doesn't think I'm pretty. Maybe he's a punk. Oh, I was so horny. I wish I could have had some, right? Right? And then let's say this girl goes off and she's like, he wasn't it anyway. So then she goes off, blah, 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 right? And let's say he has a friend, right? This is so silly. All right. And let's say this is his friend. And his friend is like, oh man, I went out with Sally and me and Sally had a threesome. And you're like, what? I just went out with Sally, but me and Sally had a nice evening, but we ended it off without doing anything. You like, oh man, that Sally was a freak, right? And you're like, oh my goodness, Sally, why didn't you tell me? And Sally's like, you never even tried. Okay. So thank my nature's eraser for participating in this little skit. But I did all of that to say that, you know, you never really know. You know, and as a man never really knows what it is that he'll be able to do or not do unless he uses his God-given aggression, I don't know, and unless he tries. You know, he can be turned down, but the the risk versus the reward. You know, for taking the risk of trying, you know, a woman who's not down with it will be like, no, and you guys can still go forward from there, but she knows that you're just being a quote-unquote typical man anyway. Or you can try and be able to get what it is that, you know, get some pleasure or some fun or an adventure or whatever it is that night. So risk versus the reward. The risk of not trying is so much greater. I mean, you know exactly what I'm trying to say. So so that's my whole video, and I hope you got my whole point. Because bottom line, you as a woman, you set the precedent for what it is that you will and you will not allow. And you have to think about all of the people who invested in you. And even if there were not people who invested in you, you have to think about your guardian angel who cares about you. The same guardian angel that brought you to this video to hear this message. You have to think about what it is that you are worth to yourself and how you require to be treated. It's up to you, because you cannot leave that in the hands of somebody else, especially not a man, because a man is going to try. A man is going to try. And the men who don't try are the ones who get put in the friend zone. They're the ones who get passed over. They're the ones who miss out on so many good times, you know. And so, listen, don't fault a man for trying. You know, everybody wants to have a little bit of fun out there, and you never really know which of the other people out there who want to have fun too. And remember, every woman is different. I was watching this show. Remember this show that used to come on, Blind Date? And in this show, it just was this. I found this to be so profound, because you know everybody is so different. I was watching this show. Remember, it was like people would go out on a blind date, and they would film it and see how it went, and sometimes it would be really crazy. I saw this blind date with this woman and this man, and the woman was really, really quiet. And the man was like talking and talking and talking the whole night. He was so loud, and he was like really he was domineering. He was loud. He took over the whole conversation. The woman didn't get like not two sentences in edgewise, and they went through the whole night. And the people who edited the thing, they were making fun of the guy, because you know they were like and they were cutting forward, and he was talking and talking and talking the whole night. And I saw this and I was like, wow, this woman is not even able to speak. This is a horrible date, blah blah blah. And at the end of the night, when they interviewed her, the woman was like, wow, you know, I liked him so much. He's so interesting. He has so many stories to tell, and this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, on the date, she did not, I'm telling you, I don't know if any of you ever saw this show, but she did not say two sentences on the date. And I was like, wow, that just goes to show you, you know, sometimes you really, how can you really tell whether or not a person likes you? And she was saying that the guy could have come in if he wanted to at the end of the night, but you know, the guy never really, he didn't take it there. So that's my whole video. Tell me what you think about it. What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear your comments below. And if you're in a situation with a man, he's not treating you the way you feel that he would treat his own daughters, you need to go on. And you need to go find somebody who will treat you how you know that you feel how you feel deserve to. Let someone treat you like the truth, the common denominator of love. Get treated with love, you know, because when he sends his daughter out into the world, it's going to be on her. It's going to be on her to take the lessons that she's gotten. You know, don't embarrass the people who gave you the lessons of how you should be treated. Don't accept anything less than that. Don't embarrass yourself or the people who invested in you. Don't. Just go find somebody who is willing and able to give you what you need. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we get into this whole us versus them thing. You know, it's unfortunate that sometimes dating can be like a war. It's unfortunate. You know, where people are like, oh, well, you know, men are going to treat my daughters right, but then they're going out there treating other people's daughters wrong. You know, it's like you have to really kind of think. It's just the whole thing. Everything comes full circle. You know, we don't really realize that what we put out there, we get back. You know, and one can only hope. And, you know, if there are any men who are watching these videos, I would say, you know, don't mistreat anybody's daughter. Everybody is somebody's daughter. Don't mistreat anyone's daughter. You know? You wouldn't want anybody mistreating yours. You wouldn't want her to go out there, get caught up in emotion, thinking that somebody really cares about her. Meanwhile, this guy is the one who's trying and, you know, pushing up and disrespecting her, not treating her to the utmost. You know, so listen, anyway, let's just spread the love. Hug me, hug me. I love you all so very much. I do. I love you all. So listen, go out there and love one another, but most importantly, what? That's right. Love yourself. Come over to my website, subscribe to my mailing list, TonyaTko.com. Meet me on Facebook, facebook.com/TonyaTko show, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitterist. You know exactly what I'm saying. Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. It's at TonyaTko, and that's Tonya with an O, Tonya. And I'm out. Peace.